event today, and I also want to thank GHD for obviously hosting us here today. So I think, where IoT is today in terms of the state of IoT, it's really about now we're emerging into scale. We're emerging into data from sensors and devices that have started to make their way into business as usual, into a multitude of industries and use cases across Australia and also around the world. But I think it's important to understand how we got here and some of the key drivers that led us to where we are today, because I think that'll give us some insights into where we need to go over the next 20 years in the future. And getting to scale, it hasn't been a technology issue. It's about economies of scale. My own journey has been over the last 30 years, graduating from ETS in engineering, working on soil moisture sensing and communication services and back-end software and applications, real-time soil moisture for irrigation control. This is in 1993. And I asked myself, why isn't this prevalent in industry today? And it's about scale. Then back in, from 2002 to 2008, I had the privilege of working with GE for a number of years in a variety of different roles. And, in our aircraft engine business, we had, what was one of the first real-time virtual twins of an aircraft engine, with thousands of sensor data points being transmitted in real time to a back-end system. When that aircraft was flying through the air and landed at its destination port, the maintenance crews already understood exactly what the maintenance requirements were for that aircraft engine. So moving from periodic maintenance to just-in-time maintenance. But that was an asset which had a few $1 million in value. So spending a couple of $100,000 on monitoring equipment was feasible. Scaling that out to assets that are a few $100s is a different story, and that's where economies of scale has become really important. So what has really led us there, I guess, it's been a multitude of factors. One, industries are becoming and needing to become more sustainable, which means we have to measure. And we're also under pressure of being more productive, and hence the periodic maintenance to just-in-time maintenance, particularly with asset-intensive industries. We've had IT merging into OT and really driving what's really the fourth industrial revolution around industry. And we have GHD here, obviously, today. There's, cloud-based infrastructure, AI and big data has really merged, from the chasm into real sort of production, economy of scale ready technologies, thanks to the likes of AWS. Then we've got the proliferation of mobile devices, billions of devices around the world that have driven down the cost of silicon and the cost of processing, which is why we've got devices now that are at the point where, from a cost perspective, they can actually scale, which means we can sense more at a granular level and bring back data to really drive and transform industries. And of course, in 2015, on the back of these emerging events, was the advent of low-power wide area networking and technologies like LoRaWAN, which enabled low-cost communication technologies that could bring the data back from these sensors and devices over a low-cost network at scale. And of course, being a telco and being able to provide that infrastructure to a multitude of customers under the auspices of ACMA drives economies of scale. And that, I think, really leads to where we are today, which I think is fairly self-evident, is we're starting to really see, as I mentioned earlier, industries, local government, state government, federal government, agriculture, logistics, water infrastructure, utilities. We're starting to see that information drive some of those industries through the scale of granular data. And Frank's going to talk a bit more about the implications of that in a few moments. So once again, thank you so much. Pleasure to be here and really looking forward to the next few hours.